Israel and President Bush developing over money demands. The president says peace talks come first.
I don't know. I'm not talking about gratitude. I'm talking about world peace.
This is NBC Nightly News with Tom Brokaw, reporting tonight from NBC News headquarters in New York.
Good evening. High stakes once again tonight in the Middle East, the peace talks and hostages. Maneuvering over the peace talks has led to a blunt public confrontation between President Bush and Israel. Israel wants a big loan guarantee to help resettle Soviet Jews. President Bush, worried about Arab reactions, says no deal. He'll veto a loan guarantee. First, he says, the peace talks. NBC's John Cochran at the White House tonight. John, a great deal is riding on this one, including the '92 election.
Well, we don't even have to wait till '92. It has big implications for 1991, Tom. The president knows this is a fight he could lose in Congress. So, rather than just lay back, he went public, made his veto threat in the hopes of swaying those in Congress who are still fence-sitting on loan guarantees for Israel.
The president does not want to guarantee loans now to house Soviet Jews because that would make it easier for Israel to use its own money to build new settlements in the Israeli-occupied territories. Bush fears that loan guarantees would anger the Arabs and torpedo a Mideast peace conference this fall. Bush's solution? Don't even talk about loan guarantees till January.
Quite simply, a 120-day delay is not too much for a president to ask for with so much in the balance. We must give peace a chance.
Bush went on the offensive as 1,200 pro-Israel supporters lobbied on Capitol Hill. The pro-Israel lobby is well-financed and well-coordinated, and Bush knows it.
I'm up against some powerful political forces.
But Bush may not really be taking much of a political risk. Listen to this.
Denied, and I think the American people will support me.
Bush can say that because his aides believe a growing number of Americans perceive Israel as an obstacle to peace. But staunch backers of Israel believe Bush is picking a totally unnecessary fight.
I felt that I was surprised. Frankly, I was hurt.
The peace process was moving along perfectly well before the president threw down the gauntlet.
I'm sorry to say that I've seen the most disingenuous press conference given by a president that I've ever seen.
Reward our friends and punish our enemies. Now, that may seem too simplistic, but I'd suggest to you that we've had a foreign policy that all too often has done just the opposite.
The president's aides may feel that he can afford to anger pro-Israeli supporters, but some big state Republicans in Congress are not amused. They feel the president has started a brawl that will advance neither peace nor their re-election chances. Tom?
Thank you, John. And now to the hostages. After weeks of behind-the-scenes negotiating, the pace is quickening tonight. A resolution may soon be at hand. Israel's release of Arab prisoners and remains was matched today by the return of the body of an Israeli soldier. NBC's Tom Askell in Damascus tonight with What's Next. Thomas?
Tom, the long ordeal for the families of men missing in Lebanon and in Israel may soon be coming to an end.
Lebanese Shiites today honored the dead the Israelis gave back to them Wednesday. Prayers in a Beirut mosque were led by Sheikh Mohammed Hussein Fadlallah. Many believe he has influence over the groups holding the Western hostages. By returning the bodies of 9 guerrillas slain over the last few years along its border with Lebanon, Israel was emphasizing that all sides want back their missing men and the remains of their dead. The suspicion and hostility Shiites feel towards Israel was evident when the coffins were carried through Beirut streets. But the two sides are negotiating, and many are surprised the trade in information, bodies, and prisoners has gone this far. Some of the 51 Arabs Israel released are already back with their families. The gesture the Shiites have been demanding from Israel has been made. UN Secretary General Perez de Cuellar, in Tehran all week, is expressing more optimism than ever that a hostage solution is near. He's receiving praise for progress made so far, even from the kidnappers of Westerners held in Lebanon. Islamic Jihad issued a statement in Beirut today, along with a photograph of American hostage Terry Anderson, calling on the UN to continue its efforts, but urging the release of more Arab prisoners. An earlier message from another kidnapped group, accompanied by a photograph of British hostage Jackie Mann, said the way to release all captives lies in the UN negotiations. There are 5 Americans among the foreign hostages missing in Lebanon: Terry Anderson, Thomas Sutherland, Joseph Cicipio, Alan Steen, and Jesse Turner.
The momentum is there to free the hostages in Lebanon, the prisoners in Israel, and to account for the dead on all sides. Tom?
Tom, we've been down this road before, of course. What makes this situation different in your judgment?
Well, for the first time, the UN is involved directly. That's at the request of the kidnappers. And secondly, Israel has gone ahead and made that gesture, so it seems the next move is up to the kidnappers. Tom?
Thank you, Tom Aspel, tonight. It was 5 years ago today that American hostage Joseph Sicipio was kidnapped in Beirut. At his brother's home outside of Philadelphia, Sicipio's family and friends today marked the occasion with a simple ceremony commemorating all the Western hostages. Tomorrow will be Sicipio's 61st birthday. I'll be back in a moment with Clarence Thomas's trial by hearing. The Supreme Court nominee is sticking to his script. And tonight's Daily Difference, crime and punishment, hazing, Jim Cummins, and how prosecutors now are trying to stop a dangerous fraternity ritual.
You want to spend as little as possible, yet still get the most for your money. So where do you go for tires? Your Goodyear retailer. He has a wide selection of tires at prices that are lower than you'd expect for such quality. Computer balanced, installed by experts. Where else could you pay so little for so much peace of mind? Good tires, good service, good people. Goodyear.
Extra Strength Maalox Plus, the strongest antacid there is, now comes in extra strength tablets. Stronger than Tums, stronger than Rolaids. New Extra Strength Maalox Plus, now in tablets.
My doctor told me it's the strongest. My stomach tells me it's fast.
It's a comfort to know more people have taken Sominex over the past 30 years than any other sleep aid. Safe, simple Sominex.
For Democrats, at least, Supreme Court nominee Clarence Thomas seems to be suffering from a growing identity crisis. So much so that one of them joked today that he may be, in fact, a closet liberal. NBC's Andrea Mitchell is on Capitol Hill tonight. Andrea?
Tom, frustrated Democrats say the longer Clarence Thomas testifies, the less they know what kind of justice he would be.
Who is the real Clarence Thomas? Contrary to his conservative past, this week he has been solidly mainstream and relentlessly evasive when asked about abortion.
I think that whether or not I have a view on this important issue is irrelevant to being an impartial judge.
Do you think that your responses on this question would have satisfied a panel composed of 14 women instead of 14 men?
I would hope that the manner in which I am judged in a fair and impartial manner does not depend on the gender or the race of those judging me.
By one count, he was asked about abortion more than 70 times.
What are we going to have, 64,000 questions on abortion before we're done with this approach?
Thomas was also challenged on affirmative action. As a Reagan official, he had sharply criticized a major Supreme Court decision involving job discrimination against women.
Weren't you inviting lower courts to find ways to disregard the majority ruling in that case in a way that would make it even harder than it already is for women to prevail against sex discrimination on the job?
Thomas said despite disagreeing with the decision, he had abided by it. The sharpest questioning came from the committee chairman, who pressed him hard on whether single people have the same right to privacy as married couples.
I don't think anyone could decide
Judge, I think that is the most unartful dodge that I've heard.
Committee Republicans broke in to help Thomas, pointing out that Biden had used more than his allotted time.
Your friends think you're getting in trouble, and they'd like me to stop. So what I will do...
His Senate handler signaled from the bench.
Chairman Danforth suggests we can go forward.
Despite the tensions today, Thomas survived all tests and seems headed toward confirmation. Tom?
Thank you, Andrea. Beyond the issues, of course, there is a candidate's television appearance. For a few days, he does find himself the star of a daily television program that might be called Judge Thomas for the Court. Jim Miklashevsky tonight has a review.
From the opening gavel, there was no question that the Thomas hearing involved high-stakes politics. But it's also about big-time television.
Good morning, Judge. Welcome to the blinding lights.
Like any political candidate, Supreme Court nominees are now packaged for television. Political media consultants on both sides are giving Thomas and the White House a thumbs up.
They've done a masterful job, the handlers and the coaches, in terms of preparing him. And right now, he's doing well.
He was reassuring to people who had heard a lot of horror stories about this man. They looked at him and they said, "That's no devil, I like that guy."
And like any television event, this one was carefully staged. Family members become props. Political advisors sit directly behind Thomas, and like a third base coach, flash hand signals to friendly senators on the panel. Even the size of the table is important to portray Thomas as an underdog.
The table is small, and it's not just one man against the committee, it's one black man against 15 white senators.
In television, you've got to grab him early. Thomas did just that in his opening statement when he invoked the grandfather clause.
I watched as my grandfather was called boy.
He did it masterfully. He set the tone.
With tears in his eyes, I must say he was very effective.
It may be effective, but is it any way to choose a Supreme Court justice?
But as long as we have a confirmation process, a political process, dominated by this media circus and this television kind of manipulation, we're not going to be, as a country, really dealing with the real issues.
Television distorts politics. Television distorts life. But the fact is that television is real, and we have to work within the world that television has given us.
The White House and Judge Thomas have learned that lesson well. Jim Miklaszewski, NBC News at the White House.
One more sign tonight of the increasing role of minorities in American life. The College Board said today that by 1995, just 4 years from now, 1/3 of all elementary and high school students will be from minority groups.
As we approach the 1992 Olympic Games, many are striving to be their best. They call him Iron Legs, but Richard Lowe isn't an athlete. He's a letter carrier on some of the cruelest hills in San Francisco. The 750,000 workers of the Postal Service are proud to sponsor the 1992 Olympic Games and share with you the quest to be the best. We deliver for you.
Risk. As hard as it is to live with, it's impossible to live without. At Merrill Lynch, we know that risk can be dealt with. It can be managed. It can even be turned to your advantage. To do that, you need a partner. A partner who understands it and can help you turn a world of risk into a world of opportunity. Merrill Lynch. We're bullish on the future.
If your doctor has recommended Metamucil and you like the results, but you don't like those glasses of thick liquid, change to FiberCon. Get the same fiber action in easy-to-swallow tablets. Get doctor-recommended FiberCon.
When you get gas pain, you've got a choice. Your antacid or Gas X, the tablet made for gas pain. It's extra strength, 100% simethicone to get rid of gas faster than your antacid. Fight gas right with Gas X.
Tonight's Daily Difference, crime and punishment. For new college students, freshman life can be punishing indeed. Although many fraternities are trying to put an end to hazing, the tradition of physically abusing new members goes on. But in Texas at least, prosecutors now are cracking down. NBC's Jim Cummins tonight.
Rush Week at the University of Texas. This year, the incoming freshmen learn about hazing before they pledge a fraternity. Chris Strong, president of the Interfraternity Council, tells them it's against the law.
Some of the images y'all might have of fraternities is out of an Animal House image like you see in the movies. But these are really things of the past.
Animal House, the movie that glorified the excesses of college life, including hazing, which has been part of the initiation process at most fraternities.
Thank you, sir. May I have another?
That was in the movies then. This is the reality in Texas now. Criminal prosecutions.
In charge of the offense of hazing.
8 members of the Sigma Nu fraternity charged with beating and abusing a pledge who dropped out of school after the incident. 4 of those charged got probation and some jail time as part of a plea bargain. The other 4 are expected to get even stiffer sentences if convicted. Defense lawyer Chris Gunter was angry.
You know, why weren't there hazing cases made over the last couple of years when deaths occurred.
It was the death of Mark Seeberger 5 years ago that prompted Texas to toughen its laws. Seeberger, a freshman at the University of Texas, was taken for a ride by some of his Phi Kappa Psi fraternity brothers. He was handcuffed to the ceiling of this van while he drank beer and rum non-stop for 2 hours. The 18-year-old boy died of alcohol poisoning. His parents sued and last week collected about $2 million from the fraternity and some of its members.
Some of the rituals and traditions that can end up with a great kid like Mark dying is just ridiculous.
One wouldn't think that they'd have to warn their children about hazing, truly in this day and age.
But do you?
Well, you certainly do.
State Senator Gonzalo Barrientos led the fight to make hazing a crime.
And for a young man or young woman to be hurt, to be maimed, indeed to die because of stupidity, it's just outrageous. And so we have to play hardball.
One kind of hardball? Ken Oden, the county attorney in Austin, Texas, expanded the hazing investigation following the Sigma Nu incident and subpoenaed most of the fraternity leaders at the University of Texas to appear before a grand jury, college kids.
Talk to my lawyer, please. He's right in there.
Oden says his investigation has found about 2/3 of the fraternities on campus have engaged in criminal or questionable behavior.
You'll get good young men who will do things as a group that they would never do individually.
3 of the fraternities have agreed to pay fines and restitution of $35,000. The Sigma Nu house was closed by the national office.
Hey, this is our house. Still. Get off this property.
Still, some fraternity members are grateful for intervention.
The basic fact is, we're 18, 19, 20, 21 years old. We don't know what we're doing, and in a lot of senses, we need outside help, and we're asking for it.
But prosecutors are not backing off. They're tired of waiting for universities to police fraternities or for fraternities to police themselves. Jim Cummins, NBC News, Dallas.
I'll be back in a moment with more news, including tonight's successful launch of the shuttle Discovery.
Did you know that on March 10th of 1876, on the 3rd floor of this building in Boston, Alexander Graham Bell spilled some acid on his trousers. Needing help, he quickly tried his latest invention. In another room, his assistant wrote in his journal the next words he heard, feeling they may have some historical importance.
Mr. Watson, come here. I want you.
And a small business was born. Today at AT&T, we understand the kind of entrepreneurial spirit you need to run a small business. But it takes more than an idea and a dream. So we offer you almost 5,000 small business specialists in service centers all over the country to help with your long-distance needs and help you grow. At AT&T, almost half our business comes from small business. When you succeed, we succeed.
I put off seeing my doctor because I was worried about needing surgery for my hemorrhoids. I suffered for it. The pain, itching, and burning were awful. But the doctor said my hemorrhoids weren't serious. I didn't need surgery. He told me it was time I started using Preparation H.
Preparation H cream helps shrink swelling of inflamed hemorrhoidal tissues and often brings relief from pain, itching, and burning for hours.
What a difference Preparation H cream makes.
Doctor recommended Preparation H.
Shoot some slices, shoot some shreds, shoot some salad shooter.
Presto Salad Shooter Slicer Shredder. Point and shoot right where you want. Clean up easy, dishwasher safe, store anywhere. Original, cordless, and professional salad shooter.
They're coming! Dow Bathroom Cleaner with scrubbing bubbles. It's 50% stronger than original Dow Bathroom Cleaner. We work even harder, so you don't have to.
The Space Shuttle Discovery was successfully launched into the twilight skies over Florida tonight.
Start. 3 main engines up and burning.
After a short delay, the launch went well. The shuttle is carrying 5 astronauts and a satellite that will study the Earth's atmosphere, including the ozone layer. Back here on Earth, Fidel Castro, as we know, has taunted 8 American presidents. He's one of the few communists left standing in the world, but with Mikhail Gorbachev now saying that Soviet troops will be withdrawn from Cuba, Fidel may be at the end of his rope. NBC's Ed Rabel has more tonight.
When I spoke to him this summer, Fidel Castro knew there were tough times ahead.
We're going through difficulties, and those difficulties can be even greater.
That was an understatement. The Soviet decision to pull its military rug out from under Castro is being called a huge shock.
This is a huge psychological blow to the Cubans. For 30 years, their military relationship with the Soviet Union has been their security shield against their perception of hostility from the United States.
Dating back to the Cuban Missile Crisis of 1962, the Soviet military presence just 90 miles away was a thorn in America's pride. It was also a big Cold War threat. No more.
Imagine the Roman Catholic Church without Rome. This is the Cuban Communist Party without the Communist Party governing in the Soviet Union.
Soviet economic withdrawal already has created hardship in Cuba. Gas shortages, bus shortages, food shortages. Bicycles, hundreds of thousands of them are replacing cars. Cuban exiles are predicting no future for Castro's communism once the Russian troops leave.
The signal is catastrophic for Castro. It's over for Castro.
Government sources say the United States military is formulating contingency plans to deal with any upheaval. For example, how to deal with another exodus of thousands of Cubans headed for Miami, or what to do in case an opposition government arises somewhere in Cuba. Still, analysts of Cuba are not counting Castro out completely just yet, certainly not by a military coup d'etat.
If Fidel Castro were pushed aside by other people in the regime, the whole regime might come tumbling down. So I don't think any of them are likely to try that.
But unless Castro changes his socialist ways soon, the analysts say, his country is likely to suffer complete economic collapse, an event that would drive him from power. Ed Rabel, NBC News, Washington.
In this country, there was more good news about inflation today. The government reported that wholesale prices rose just 0.2% last month. More on that now from NBC's Irving R. Levine.
Your average shopper may not see it that way, but in the view of some economists, the battle against inflation has been won.
Right now, inflation is just about dead.
The recession has forced businesses like Rodman's Discount Store in Washington, D.C., to hold back on price increases for fear of driving away customers.
If you don't give them the right price, they walk out, they leave.
Still, many consumers challenge the government's low inflation figures.
Well, I just see that prices are going up, and gasoline and groceries. So that's the mainstay.
The government puts a lot of weight on food, fuel, and housing prices, but people often measure the cost of living by other things.
Medical care, education, and services like haircuts and shoe shines. Prices of newspapers and magazines continue to go up much faster, and in some cases twice as fast as the overall price index.
People are skeptical about official inflation figures because wage increases haven't kept pace with prices. What $1 could buy 10 years ago takes $1.49 now. It could get worse. Big food shipments to the Soviet Union could drive up supermarket prices.
We would expect perhaps another 1 to 2 percentage point on food price inflation if we got into a large shipment to the Soviet Union.
It's premature to write inflation's obituary. The recession put the brakes on price increases, but a pickup in the economy will likely send prices moving up again. Irving R. Levine, NBC News, Washington.
Back in a moment with the story of Clarence Thomas and a young friend.
Because sometimes the day ends and the pain doesn't, we're introducing new Tylenol PM. It's more than relief. It's relief for those times when you can't sleep. Tylenol PM has extra-strength Tylenol pain reliever to help stop your nighttime aches and pains, plus a gentle ingredient to help you sleep, so you can wake up refreshed in the morning. From the name you trust comes new Tylenol PM, so you can rest easy.
Mannington has invented a floor that breaks the shine barrier. Through all kinds of torture, Mannington Gold shines brighter and longer than even Armstrong's best floors. Mannington Gold, a shining example of what a floor should be.
Well, here I go again, up at the crack of dawn with 16 things to do. So Quaker Oats is important to me. It's pure oats, it's piping hot, and it helps keep me going all morning. Quaker Oats. It's the right thing to do.
It's time to review your insurance needs with MetLife. Get Met. It pays.
It was awful. My car broke down and no one would stop to help. Worse, I was out of state and the repair place insisted on cash. Oh, for a friendly face. Thank goodness I bank at First Interstate. And thank goodness for Anna Moreno. Without a hitch, she cashed my personal First Interstate check and helped me find a nearby mechanic to fix my car. Now that's extra mile service.
If you want extra mile service, come to First Interstate Bank. We go the extra mile for you, guaranteed.
Mannington has invented a floor that breaks the shine barrier. Through all kinds of torture, Mannington Gold shines brighter and longer than even Armstrong's best floors. Mannington Gold, a shining example of what a floor should be.
One of the missing links in the lives of too many youngsters in America is a role model. Well, a youngster in Georgia has found his own, and he can watch him every day this week on television. Clarence Thomas. NBC's Kenley Jones tonight with the story of two friends.
Will come to order.
No one is watching the confirmation hearings with more interest than 12-year-old Mark Davis, a 7th grade student in suburban Atlanta.
At each turn in my life, each obstacle confronted, each fork in the road, someone came along to help.
Judge Thomas, you see, is helping Mark now.
And he sends me books like The Hardy Boys by Franklin W. Dixon. He sent me a set of encyclopedias that his son had once used, and they're great. I use them every day for homework.
When Mark told a teacher last year that he admired Thomas and wanted to be like him, the teacher told the judge, who wrote to Mark.
It was a great letter, and he told me I know that I need to work hard in math and science.
Mark Davis and Clarence Thomas have more in common than the color of their skin. Both were born into poverty. Both are the products of broken homes.
Go!
Mark's mother, Brenda, is on welfare, a single parent who recently lost her job in her public housing. She and Mark have been living with a family from their church. She says when Thomas took an interest in Mark, it motivated her son to rise above his circumstances, to make something of himself.
Mr. Thomas, I really admire him. What he done for my son, I can never repay him. Never.
In school, I've been doing a lot better. My grades have improved from C's to B's, and I made honor roll last year.
What does that tell you about Judge Thomas?
When he was small and when he needed help, somebody helped him, and he's trying to return the debt by helping me.
If Thomas is confirmed to the Supreme Court, he will make decisions that affect the lives of millions of Americans. But even if he is not, he has already affected one. Kenley Jones, NBC News, Atlanta.
That's nightly news for this Thursday night. I'm Tom Brokaw. I'll see you tomorrow night.
Tonight, it's the first Bob Hope Spectacular of the season with Burt Reynolds, Roseanne and Tom Arnold, Angela Lansbury and Garth Brooks, appearing for the very first time with Bob, and Lucille Ball, Johnny Carson, Bill Cosby, and many more classic clips of Hollywood's biggest stars of yesterday on an all-new Bob Hope special.
Tonight, after Cheers.
Real-life heroes risking their lives to snuff out the ferocious Kuwaiti oil field fires. Arthur Kent puts you on the front line on Real Life with Jane Falk. Right.
Friends claim he promised to murder his childhood sweetheart.
A Current Affair, now on Channel 8, tonight at 7.